Hi, I'm Rick, and this is Rick Studios. Welcome back. This is episode 2. What we're going to do today is a quick tidy up of my got a storage area here for paintbrushes, which I use on a daily basis, or not on a daily basis, on the occasions when I'm actually painting. So let's quickly tidy up this space. You have to excuse the blind behind. That's an old paper Amazon blind that you can see it has a hole just there. I will replace them with better blinds. I got a blind there and a blackout blind just behind as well. But yeah, so we're a bit more on the studio as time goes on. But a quick tidy up of brushes, and then I'm going to take you through and look at a series of one example of this Britain oil painting series, which I produce on a very protracted timescale. Each one takes about 2 years, but I'll go into that in a second. Let's crack on, tidy up these brushes, and then we'll have a look at this painting. Well, there you go. It's a little bit better. So I have a large collection of paintbrushes. There's more in the drawers. You never know when you need a paintbrush, and there's paintbrushes all around the studio, to be honest with you. And these are my plants, so they will recover if I remember to keep watering them. But this is a fern, another kind of fern. This is a hanging plant, and this is a plant that's got little balls on. So that's the that's my paintbrush storage area for accessible paintbrushes. I do use them, so they are out for a reason. And I've got my little watering can, so it's quite nice. Yeah, and I have to have the candle going because we have cats and dogs in here a lot of the time, so just to make the smell a little bit more pleasant. So that's my slightly tidied brush collection. The only problem now, I need to work out what I'm going to do with all of this. It's going to take a little bit of time to get the studio tip top, but for now, let's just take you through some of the work in progress. I'll flip the camera around and we'll take it from there. Let's see. Okay, so this is my sort of paint station. So I have a wall easel and I have a few standing easels. So this is one that's been, I think I got this from PO10. I'm not 100% sure, but possibly. But I do have other wall easels dotted around. Anyway, this is an oil painting, a landscape, on a similar concept to the one that's on the easel at the moment. Okay, on the wall easel. So this is from a series called This Britain. This is number 11. Let me just take this off. It's oil portrait, a bit of a practice session. I haven't really painted many portraits for a while, so just trying to get back into it slowly. My oil painting technique does leave a lot to be desired. I kind of paint the way I've drawn with pencils, kind of layer upon layer. Anyway, this one is a landscape. It's upside down for a reason. It's because I've been using this oil medium. It's a poppy seed oil. It takes a long time to dry, and I noticed that the bottom edge of the painting was still very much wet, so I thought I'd turn it over, give it a chance to get some air, and then to dry off properly. But anyway, this is my This Britain series of paintings. This is the latest version. This is number 11, and it's kind of invoking a journey through the landscapes where I ride and I walk. I do a lot of mountain biking, and the hills are really the South Downs. So this is where I spend most of my time riding with friends or on my own. And in terms of landscapes, there's a few which we'll go into. This is based on Bosham, and you can see that, generally speaking, I kind of play around with the landscapes and make it feel a little more like a quilt. And there's flow lines which you can't see, but they start off with flow lines that take the eye into like a vanishing point, but they kind of curve round and the landscapes kind of fall into the same location. So this is going to be based on Chichester, the cathedral there, and this is Bosham, the harbour, and a few boats dotted around where the sailing club is, the church. And just to go through very quickly, this has gone through a couple of iterations. I don't tend to plan very well, so it's not sketched out in any detail. And I've overpainted this area a couple of times now. So originally the road swept round here. It just didn't look quite right. So I kind of extended it out, and now I've pulled it out even further. So this is like the third iteration of this roadway. And another thing that all of the drawings and paintings have in common is a stylized sun, and there's always a moon somewhere in the landscape, in the sky, either hidden behind a moon, hidden behind a cloud, and you can see there. So this is still work in progress. I've got to brighten up parts of the cloud, and the whole painting is still work in progress, as you can see. So I reckon probably if I crack on with this, maybe 6 months, maybe 3. It'd be nice to get this finished before the end of the art trail, which is in end of May, April. So it's currently start of January. So hopefully I'll get this finished. We'll see. So whilst we're here, this is my my caddy, where I keep all of my oil paints I'm using, and the palette. So I've got a glass palette. I've gone through so many palettes, nothing really works, and my palettes get a little bit messy. I try and keep this clean, but this one so far has been pretty successful. Talking about paintbrushes, this is another collection of paintbrushes which I'm using on a constant basis for the oil paintings. And in this drawer here, I picked this drawer unit. Let me just zoom back out. Picked that drawer unit up from a market where they obviously upcycle old pieces of furniture, and it's quite useful actually. I keep lots of oil paints. I actually organise these into colours, which for me is pretty impressive. And it's oils, and there's some gouache and possibly some watercolours, although watercolour paints are dotted around, but they're all tubes in here. Okay, so this is work in progress. You can see a few other paintings work in progress. I'll talk about this one another time. This is from a Darkwood series. You can see some of the Darkwood pictures up on the wall. But this is number 11. I was going to pause at number 10, which is a larger painting. I'll show you that on another video. It's a different landscape perspective. It's more in amongst the landscape rather than viewing the landscape from above. Right, I've sat back down now. So thanks for tuning in. This is episode 2. I'm going to keep this one slightly shorter. I'm not too sure on the duration of these videos. Trying to keep them interesting, and just to give you on these first few episodes just an overview of my studio, the types of work I'm working on, and then we'll start getting into some of the processes in terms of how I create these images, and also I suppose there'll be a few more time lapses of me painting and talking you through the process. I won't be teaching anybody how to draw or paint. Okay, so I would imagine if you look at my technique, you wouldn't want to replicate it. It's painful. Anyway, that's all for now, and thanks for joining, and I'll see you again soon. All right, bye.